Hey, welcome to the Dagnabbit Boys podcast. My pronouns are he, him. What are your pronouns, Cooper?
He, him.
He, him. Interesting. Nothing special?
No. And they don't like when you say that either. One time when I was getting into college, we were on a tour and we all stood in a circle and we were like, okay, we're going to go around, say our pronouns and something about us. And they came by me and I think I said just the regular ones. And they were like, no, you can't say they're the regular ones.
Oh, me? Normal.
Yeah. Said something like that. And I was disappointed in myself because I was like, I'm going to crush this.
Yeah.
And I did not crush it. People didn't like it.
Yeah, you got an F.
I actually had a dream like 20 minutes ago before you showed up. Just being honest with the audience. You were there. A group of people was there. We were sitting on the street with some dudes. It felt like a comedy situation. And then some girl came by and was like, hey, do you guys mind if I join your conversation? And then a police car drove by with the sirens on. And I was just like, oh, this woman's just running from the police. And then I got up and left.
So the moral of the dream is Dagnabbit Boys provide a home for troubled young women.
I left.
I
Now,
stayed.
I was going to try and tell you, like, I think this lady's running from the police, but I was also like, Shane might pick up on this.
Yeah.
Because this lady's acting suspicious, so I don't think Shane is just going to hang around.
Yeah, I probably did. I fight for women, so.
Yeah, but then you're like, you can get into like being some sort of accomplice to a crime.
That sounds bad, but my love of women outweighs my hatred of consequences.
Yeah, but then you could go to jail.
Yeah, and I'll get
And then
viciously assaulted.
And it's all men, and you love women. So what is a worse place than jail?
To me, that sounds like hell.
It's a bunch of men. Imagine, that's the worst part of jail, is that you have to be surrounded by a purely male perspective.
Yeah, and you try to talk about, stuff you care about, like feminism and...
Yeah,
Hillary Clinton. I go to jail. Every time I've been to jail, I try bringing up Hillary and how, we messed up because we couldn't have a woman in office.
We fucked up, guys. Remember I was in jail and all those guys were like, man, the world has scorned me. It's such bullshit. Nobody gives a fuck about us. And I was like, just imagine if we had Hillary, y'all. And the room went silent. And I think it's because they were like really thinking about what I said and not like really angry and thought that I was being an idiot. And I was like, if we just got Hillary Rodham Clinton in the White House, none of us would be in jail. And they're like, she called black people super predators, and her husband installed the 3-strike rule, which increased incarceration by like 3,000%. Yeah, and I said no, they didn't.
You're probably thinking of George W. Bush.
Yeah, you're probably thinking of Donald Trump. And they were like, no, this was in like the 90s.
And it's like, oh, crazy. That's interesting. A woman is bad, and we're all men.
Yeah,
I guess you want to have sex with me without my consent.
And they were like, no.
Oh, all right. I'll spread for you guys, but I'm not going to like it.
They were like, no, prison, like, in jail, people get raped, but in prison, there will be less, like, outright rapes because if somebody rapes somebody and then gets in trouble for it, the whole cell block gets in trouble for it.
All right, I get it. You're my husband.
Yeah.
I get it. You're my husband now. And that guy over there is going to have sex with me without my consent while you watch and jack off.
And this is me, like, 20 minutes into jail. And I'm like, oh, great. So I'm a lady now. And I'm your girlfriend. And you're going to fuck the shit out of me.
All right, give me your pocket.
Yeah. Oh, I got to hold your pocket and you'll walk me around the jail. And I'm actually taller than you, but I'll even crouch to look shorter than you.
Yeah. Because I'm in jail. Everybody here is actually shockingly short.
Oh, I better start cutting up all my clothes to turn them into dresses. Is that what I should do? Should I take my shirt and cut the sleeves off so it looks like a dress, but really it's still a shirt, so it stops right above my penis and I just walk around with my penis out that I say is a vagina? Should I do that?
Thank God I prepared for this. Right before I was going to jail, I changed my legal name to Sissy with no last name.
And when you're having sex with me in jail, I will hold my fist up and say, I'm with her. I am still with the Clintons because they're good people and they care.
Imagine you're reading books in prison, right? And you love Hillary, and then you're reading, and then you find out about this person named Kamala Harris, and you're like, she's gonna win. She's gonna. I love this woman.
Can you imagine how happy everyone in prison was when they found out that Kamala Harris was running for president? Somebody who, is not one of these people who just locks a bunch of people up. It's not like she did that as the DA. She's a good person, and you know that because...
DA stands for duh.
Duh, best candidate for president.
Duh, most beautiful woman in the world, and the smartest.
I think the funniest thing you can do in jail is read Hillary Clinton's autobiography. Be like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to get that knowledge, just trying to read more. And they're like, what you reading? And you're like... Hillary Rodham Clinton's autobiography.
You try to turn it back to the library, and you're like, I'm really sorry, but I just had to highlight so much stuff. And they're like, I don't think this is going to be a problem.
Good thing you brought this book back. Everybody's been trying to read it. Everybody in this damn prison's been trying to read this book. People love this book.
This is going to be another one of those things we clip up, and then everybody in the comments is like, I knew these guys with feminine voices were libtards.
Yeah, I was trying to bring up the comments, but I wasn't able to. It's whatever. We film on my phone, but I've recently started posting on Facebook because I've talked to other comedians, and they say Facebook is a great place to post. There's older people, they have money. Facebook will even pay you if you get enough views. So I thought, let's try and be proactive and get on Facebook. And boy, does everybody hate us so much more than any social media platform.
It's very good.
I get so many comments of guys with like Grim Reaper / Donald Trump profile pictures, and they're so upset.
Yeah, they don't like this. And it's like, if it's not for those guys, what is irony for?
They don't get irony. They don't. If you post a podcast clip, you have to be very serious about what you're talking about.
And I do want to come out, and I want to be serious for the first time in this podcast. We're both Donald Trump voters. So that's kind of the perspective of the podcast. So Facebook, if you want to check out our podcast, this is our official endorsement.
Yeah, Facebook, I definitely didn't vote for Claudia de la Cruz because Kamala Harris was actually not leftist enough for me. That's definitely not how I voted.
You hear that?
It was definitely...
I actually have a fake ID for other countries, and I vote for whoever the most far-right guy is in that country.
Do you like that, Facebook?
Facebook probably loves that.
Voter fraud for Donald Trump?
And Marine Le Pen. I vote for... I think... is she dead?
No, I think she's still alive.
Yeah,
Did she die?
I keep voting for Marine Le Pen.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like the French fascist.
Yeah.
That's great. I love her.
Oh, yeah.
She's the best.
Yeah, she's like, we hate the Muslims.
France is just still hating Muslims, but in a way that's very like 16th century, where they're like, we're gonna have a Muslim invasion.
We hate the cloak.
They hate
the Muslim look like the Sith Lord.
Yeah, they don't even isn't that crazy to be like Muslims can't wear hijabs?
Yeah.
It's like you hate them, though. You see less of them.
Yeah.
But I guess the hijab denotes a Muslim. So if you don't have a hijab on, then a person who doesn't like Muslims...
Maybe it's because they're like all perverts.
I want to see your face to see if you're a child. There are all these Muslim children in hijab. I cannot tell if they're kids or not.
The Allah hates when you show your hair. That makes it more, how you say, taboo.
Well, it's interesting with the children because the children's hijab just covers the hair, but you can still show your face. But then, like, well, I guess like some older women like will still show their face, but then sometimes they have the full face cover. It's just interesting the extents of it, where like, I guess some countries are like, okay, the women can show their face, but not the hair.
Yeah.
Muslim guys want to, like, fuck hair.
If you're a Muslim woman and you're watching the pod, if you want to show me your hair, I'll keep that between us. Do you want to DM me a photo of your hair?
Yeah, if you're a Muslim woman who needs to let off some steam and just show somebody your hair and you're not married yet, so you have nobody to show it to, you can DM it to the Dagnabbit Boys Instagram page. And
some podcasts ask for feet pics. We want that. We want that hair.
Gross.
We want that curly black hair.
Oh, it's not even like we'll really look at it. It's just sort of like our DMs can just sort of be a landing place for hair that you can't.
Actually, we won't even open it.
No. So don't worry, because then really, Allah and the Prophet, peace be upon him, won't really be angry because still nobody's seeing it. But it's sort of the act of sharing it that maybe gives you a thrill that you need in your life. But we won't look at it. So, yeah. But, I've been posting clips, and it's mostly like 54-year-old guys named Greg. Like, one guy comments, and he was like, what is this? The Two Guys with Down Syndrome podcast?
Which, that would be a great podcast.
Yeah. And it was funny because you didn't have an opinion on that clip. All we were talking about is how you disagree with me a lot. And he was like, shut up. Because there's a thing on Facebook I notice more than any other app, because it's a very old person thing. Anything they're shown, they think they need to respond to. Mm-hmm. Like, they think every Facebook post is like a phone call that they have to get back to. So if they don't like it, they're like, why did you show me this? You sent this to me. And it's like, it goes to everybody. And they're like, it's in my house. You're in my house. Is that what they think? Do they think we're trespassing and they want to shoot us, but they can't?
I think so. I think they're like, I'm trying to find out about my friend's grandson who's in the hospital.
Yeah.
He's in the hospital because he did some bad coke.
Now I understand why they're mad, I guess.
Yeah.
They're trying to like figure out how their niece's graduation, how the pictures came out, and then they get a Dagnabbit Boys sponsored post where we're talking about how it's fine to fuck other guys' girlfriends.
And then they're like, they're watching it like, I had to go through this just to find out about my grandkids.
And they watch the whole clip. Like, they want to...
They think it somehow might be related to their family.
They're like, are these my nephews? And they watch a whole minute, and then at the end they go, wait a minute. I don't know these guys at all.
I'm pretty sure they aren't.
They're on like the largest social media app ever made, and they're like, this isn't my family. This is supposed to be my family's page. And they're not here.
Well, this sucks. I'm just trying to see motherfuckers from Paducah, Kentucky.
All they want to do is see a girl named Jaylene from Paducah, Kentucky. That's like their stepsister's daughter. And then they see us talking about how it's fine to fuck other guys' girlfriends because no human action is alien. And then they're like, get this off of my page! One guy, he messaged us because I was doing boosted ads because I was like, let's try and get the reach out here. Let's be proactive. And I accidentally set up a function where the ad will tell you to message us. So I got many messages. Some of them were good. One old man was like, can you tell me more about your business? And I was like, we're a comedy podcast. And he just said, sweet. I love that.
Yeah.
Send us those all day. If you want to, if you're an old man and you don't know what we're doing and you want to message us and go, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And if we say comedy podcast and you say nice, that's cool. That's good interaction for me. I got a message from another guy, one word, die. He just said die. And I got too much time on my hands, so I looked at his page, and it was funny because he was like a hippie artist guy, and the rest of his page was like, if you want to do something, go do it. Don't let the world hold you back. And he was being very motivational, and it's always weird to see like what people will post and then what they'll just message people. So I took his message, and I posted the picture of it, and I tagged him, and I said, congratulations, you're cordially invited to call into the podcast. So Eli Luma...
There's a long
Neravatio. I think it was a fake name, but Eli, please call in. We'd love to hear more from you, why you want us to die.
Which, I don't know, we kind of agree. So it's like, we'll see where our agreements are, where our disagreements are. We can kind of work this out.
I mean, that's the thing about the mass amounts of hate we get from any of these clips we post is, we don't love ourselves a lot. So people are like, you're doing nothing with your life.
There's a lot of Shane's fans out there. Just know I'm not one of them.
Yeah. We haven't, they say find your fan base, and we've found the haters.
Yeah.
And they hate us. They hate us. I mean, they really hate us a lot. So, I've spent like, I don't know, maybe close to $100 on ads by now. And we've gotten one follower and a lot of messages from old people who are confused and a lot of comments from people who are really upset. On our post about guys cheating or about fucking other guys' girlfriends, which was irony, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows what I believe?
A guy commented and he said, only white people say some shit like this, then want to call the cops when you get their ass beat. And so I said, well, we're not white. I said, I'm Danish. He's Scottish. So I don't even know what you're talking about. We're not white. But yeah, if this was a boring segment of the podcast, let us know. I don't like to, this is industry talk.
Yeah, if you don't really care about the comedy industry, how podcasting works, sound off in the comments, say some stuff like something about our appearance or something. That would be fun. That's something we want to hear.
It is just funny because people will be like, oh, don't read the comments. But, it's like you get a notification. It's like somebody commented on your video and you're like, I wonder what they said. And then you're like, oh, it's the meanest thing I've heard about myself all day.
Yeah.
And then you look down and you go, oh, another mean thing. And everybody wants us to get jobs and they don't seem to understand that we're so unsuccessful. Of course we have jobs.
I hate sometimes people, if you make a comedy post that gets successful, people will accuse you of joke theft. And then you try to find the joke they're trying to accuse you of stealing, and you can't. Because it doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't, yeah. Yeah, I was looking through more successful comedians' pages to see the kind of comments that they get. And some guys are so successful that they're mostly reaching people who already like them. Yeah. So they're just like, come to this city, But you still get some people who are like, I feel like you're trying to sound like Mitch Hedberg or something. Yeah. And it's just sort of like, and then that gets like 2 likes still. Yeah. So it's like, it does never end. It's that you have to somehow get a base that will fill it with positive comments.
I was watching clips of David Cross's podcast and people are like, what, bald man bitch.
David Cross must get so much shit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because especially if you take his perspective of like.
Well, no, these are people that didn't know who he was.
I know.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. Of like, that's also the thing about comedies. You can be a guy like David Cross who's like worked for 20 plus years and TV specials, respected, and still have a guy who's just like, you're a fucking loser. And it's like, well, even by your rules, this man is a millionaire.
Yeah.
And you don't think millionaires are losers. You're like a Trump-loving middle of America capitalist. Not really a capitalist because you work in a factory, so you're not a capitalist. You're a worker. But these people, by their own logic, should like this guy, or at least the idea of it. But they don't like his ideas, so they go, you actually suck.
But he didn't even have ideas. It was just a nonsense post like we post.
Yeah.
But better. Way better.
Right, he is better at it.
Yeah, it's so much better.
So much better.
Oh, yeah. I mean.
We're bad at this,
I mean.
You know how they say, like, sometimes you're doing stuff that's so funny it upsets people?
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah, we're just doing stuff that's so upsetting it upsets people.
Yes. Took the words right out of my mouth. And you did because we think the same, and that's bad.
Oh, yeah, we just kind of bounce off of each other, and that's kind of a bad dynamic.
Like, sometimes, great example, Bob and David, like, 2 funny guys find each other, and then they make funny stuff, and we're just, like, 2 disagreeable people who found each other.
2 troubled people.
Yeah, that make stuff that upsets people.
Is troubling. Where two funny people find each other, make funny stuff. Yeah. 2 troubling people find each other, and oh boy, is it troubling.
Yeah, just sometimes you think you're like, oh, I found a funny guy we can really make some funny stuff, and this will be a great comedy collaboration. You find out that, no, really what you're doing is accentuating the worst parts of each of you.
Yes.
And doubling the unlikable effect that you had alone.
Yeah. I recorded a podcast fairly recently. It'll never be released. It'll never be. And I think it's because I just brought out all the ugliest parts of 3 of my friends.
Really?
Yeah.
What podcast?
Eli was on it. Eli Lutsky.
You need to tell me if you do other podcasts.
Well, it's not coming out.
You can't just go and do that.
Yeah, but it was grotesque, and I think they didn't want to release it because it was they have family and stuff that actually watches their content.
So this was an existing podcast you were a guest on.
It was supposed to be the last episode ever,
and you ruined it.
I mean, after that episode, they recorded the episode they recorded before. or they recorded after they put out, but they didn't put that one out. I thought it would be a fun adults-only version of the podcast.
No.
Turns out it's not even for adults.
Yeah.
You cannot be old enough to listen to it. Because there's no age that's appropriate.
There's no age that the stuff we think is funny is okay to say or to listen to. You can be 90 years old and it's still not good for you to listen to. You can be about to die and the stuff that we think is funny is just not okay to hear.
I mean, Holocaust survivors would hate this podcast.
And we completely support them and we condemn the actions of
I do
the
have
Nazis.
some questions about the Holocaust.
Such as what?
Why would us as humans let this happen?
Mm-hmm. And people get mad.
People get really mad because
Well,
I am always questioning the Holocaust. Like, why, God, why?
Yeah. No, I mean, you look at the Holocaust and you go, that's suspicious.
Yeah.
And people go, what do you mean? And you go, how could the normal German citizens stand by while such acts of violence were exacted upon the Jewish people as well as other minority groups? And they go, oh, why'd you say it like that?
I just don't know about the Holocaust. I think it's really bad.
Yeah.
I think it's horrible that happened.
Yeah, I mean, people say 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust, and I'm immediately suspicious as to how not only the German people, but the people of the world could allow so many Jews to be killed.
I hear 6 million Jews. I'm like, there's no way that can be right. And by no way that can be right, I mean the depths to which humanity can fall.
But it is.
But it simply is the truth.
But it is the truth. So
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
But it happened, and the Dagnabbit boys are against it.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know our politics, we think the Holocaust is awful. Also, in other news, Matt Rife has won the Dagnabbit
Boys Comedian of the Year.
Comedian of the Year. Sorry, Nate Bargatze. Sorry, Dave Chappelle. Sorry to the other comedians that we also like, but
Matt Rife did say we're both very funny.
Matt Rife has been the nicest to us.
Of anyone.
Of anyone in the world.
Even our friends aren't.
Even our friends are not as nice.
as the one of the biggest comedians in the entire world.
As Matt Rife has chosen to be. And maybe that, says something about why he's successful and none of our friends are, is that he knows how to actually be nice to people.
Yes. Something
we don't know how to do.
Yeah.
He really knows how to make people feel good, and we, according to Facebook.
He's an easy guy to talk to, and according to Facebook, we would not be a guy you would want to have a beer with.
No.
Yeah.
No.
The only time you would want to have a beer with us is if our beer had poison in it.
Yeah.
And your beer didn't have poison.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, we shouldn't even be saying that Matt Rife likes us, because that's probably bad for Matt.
Yeah, Facebook should not find out about this.
Yeah. Because I think he's a nice guy. He's worked his ass off since he was like 15, and now he's one of the top earning comedians in the world. He's selling out arenas. Like, it's wildly impressive.
Oh, yeah.
And us liking him is almost selfish of us.
Yes, it's
because we're so unlikable that we're like a disease, that even as little success as we have, if any of his fans found out that he doesn't despise us the way he should.
Yes, the way other headliners feel about me. I don't know if other headliners feel this way about you, but let's just say some other headliners, not big Shane heads. Let's say that.
There are some headliners that are not Shaniacs.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Would you like to list them?
No.
That's okay.
But there's a certain other headliner who might have the same name.
That is not a Shaniac.
He is absolutely not a Shaniac.
Yeah. And that, that happens.
But it happens sometimes. A headliner that, we all have utmost respect for, just saw me and decided this guy isn't worth that.
Yes.
Worth giving respect to, even though I have a lot of respect for him.
Right.
Even though, he The stuff on SNL that I don't know.
Okay, we should probably. I don't know if anything we've said is funny the entire podcast, but
no, we had some good stuff.
But what's going on in your household? There was some trouble you were explaining to me. You're having a trouble.
I don't like to go into my life at all. I don't feel like that's anybody's business. That's a new take I'm having. I don't feel like if I'm going to talk about some shit, I'm going to talk about it on stage. I'm going to let them know.
All right. Well, we have nothing to talk about.
Well,
so
we do have stuff to talk about. This is a conversation. You shouldn't say we have nothing to talk about.
Well, I don't have positive things to talk about.
And what I was going to say,
I don't know.
It's neither positive nor negative.
I've been thinking a lot about moving to New York. Because I want to see if I can be the most hated man in 2 cities.
That would be great for you.
Yeah.
You could be bi-coastal but hated. You're bi-coastal. Both coasts don't hate my guts.
I think I am going to move to different comedy scenes until I'm sort of like, okay, so like West Coast is done, East Coast is done. I'll go to Austin, so like the South is done, even though it's not, really the South, but it's the.
And you can also move to smaller comedy scenes that are still like have an important impact, like Cincinnati.
Well, then I'll go up to Chicago. So then, like the 4 edges, I'm done. And I'll go to Cincinnati, and I'm done there.
Anchorage, Alaska.
They do have a scene, and I'll just whittle it down until I have nowhere to go.
Yeah,
and that's when I'll quit. And people go, what do you mean you can't quit yet? And I'll go, I've gone to every scene.
Yes.
And they all hate me. I've made it so every scene hates me. And that could be good.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do a podcast about it, trying to be the most hated man in comedy.
Yeah.
And that might get you some reverse fans. Like people that watch you because you suck.
Yeah.
I have a plan kind of like that.
I'm sick of motherfuckers being mad at me. I was in the hardware store, and this guy called, and he's like, do you got 18-2 low voltage wire? I came in last week and bought some. Do you still have it? And I was like, we still have some. He's like, can I get 100 feet? And I was like, yeah. And then he came in, and we only had 7 feet.
Oh, no.
And he was like, I'm pretty serious when I call. And, you wasted my time. And, yeah, you didn't know. And it's just kind of funny because, like, if nothing's going right for you and you're working a job you don't care about, it almost feels good to have a guy hate you, Like...
You have ops.
Well, you're just almost glad that you're like, I'm glad I made your day worse.
Yeah.
Like, because making it better gives me nothing. And I have a narrative that I suck, so you're just helping fulfill this narrative that's negative and probably not even true, but thanks for that. So he was all upset, and he was like, yeah, you didn't know. And they want you to be apologetic, but my boss wasn't around, so he was just like, yeah, you didn't know. And I go, yeah, I don't know fucking shit.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed, because then he just got quiet after that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's nothing to say anymore.
Next time something like that happens, you should have a brick, like a kilo. And you'd be like, I don't have this. But what I do have is a key I bought from Tijuana. It's pretty fucking cheap.
That would be
I'll
cool.
sell this shit to you for like 20.
Not even sell it.
You're not getting better. You're not getting a better price than this.
Maybe not even sell it, though. Maybe just flex it.
No. What you're going to do is you're like, I'm going to sell you this key for 18.
Just
you
be
try
like,
to
you don't
tell
have
me.
this.
You try to tell me that 18 isn't great. Now you're gonna flip this shit, and you're gonna turn this key into 550. You're gonna turn this 18 key into 50.
Then you can stop being a punk ass electrician.
Yeah.
That's what I tell all these guys that come into the hardware shop. I'm like, what's you doing being a punk ass plumber when you could be moving bricks?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And I'm like, they're like, just tell me where the PVC is. And I'm like, you're wasting your life.
Yeah.
You could be wearing silk shirts on a beach, moving weight. What the fuck are you doing?
Me and Andre, we move weight. Me and Andre move weight outside this at the hardware store.
I'd love to move some weight out of the hardware store. That would be great. Right now, I'm just making keys, but
you're not buying keys and selling them.
no. I should be making them, mixing them with baby laxative, selling them to kids.
My ass bought a bunch of keys from Tijuana, drove my ass to Key West. They call me the key man of Key West.
I'm the key man of Key West, moving keys out west, down south, up north. I ship weight up north from Key West, and I got a silk shirt.
I live in one of the most expensive parts of the country, Key West.
Key West, biatch.
Did I tell you about my idea for a gang?
I think we might have. Yeah, lay it on me.
Yeah. So as you might know, I'm from a street known as Easy Street, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised on Easy Street.
Yeah, where nothing's ever wrong and shit just comes easy. You don't have to work for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Easy Street Players is my gang idea.
Mm-hmm.
We feud with the motherfuckers on Sesame Street.
Okay. So like you're
We go bang on Big Bird.
Yeah. And do they have a gang or do they just live on that block?
They just live on that block. They need to start a gang.
Mm-hmm.
Way we be banging on the motherfuckers.
And what would happen if you were to feud with like a more violent gang?
Boy. Oh, man. Oh, shit. We'd get crushed. But that's why we pick on Sesame Street.
Right.
I've been taking shooting practice.
Mm-hmm.
I've been using my I manage a McDonald's. So I've been using my money there to take shooting range classes in order to shoot better so I can bang harder.
But if you're in a gang, shouldn't you be doing what we were just talking about with like moving bricks and like
Well, that's bad for the community.
Okay, so you don't want to do anything illegal in the gang?
No.
You don't want to like sell switches to like make money for the gang?
No, that might cause violence.
Are you an anti-violence gang?
Yeah.
Do you guys have guns?
I got a pistol, but I mainly just, it's for self-defense. So if fucking Snuffleupagus tries to run up on me.
What if like a dangerous gang tried to run up on you? Would you use your gun then?
I'd be scared.
So like
I'd be like really scared.
If like an established like LA, gang rolled up on you, would you just be like, I'm so sorry. I'm not tough. You guys are tougher than me. Please don't hurt me.
I'd say, hey, I'm going to be real with you. I'm a pussy ass bitch.
Immediately?
Yes.
You would just let them dress you down?
Yeah.
So
if those guys didn't even say nothing to me, I'd flag them down. I'd be like, hey, you're on Easy Street and I'm checking in with you.
Okay. So
I'm checking in with you
so
right
let's
now
imagine
you're more
this.
dangerous.
You're sitting on a stoop with your other members of the Easy Street gang, and then the 5-tray Avalon Gangsta Crips start rolling down the street.
I pee my pants.
So you start off
immediately.
You pee your pants.
That would make me look more docile, and it would make them feel dominant because I got so scared.
Okay, and then they stop their car right in front of your house. They're looking at you.
I'd say, please don't.
And
I'm
then
so scared.
Before they say anything.
Yes.
Okay, and they go, okay, so I'll just play the role of them. I don't know a lot about them, so I apologize. I know we have a lot of viewers from the 5-tray Avalon Gangsta Crip set, but
this is all done with respect.
Okay, so yeah, it's all done with respect. So you're on the stoop, roll by, stop, look at you.
Oof. Oh no, fuck. I got like a mom and shit.
What's up with you? Is something wrong?
I peed my fucking pants, man.
Why are you so scared?
Because you're real, and I'm fake, and I'm a pussy bitch, and I want to act tough, but I manage a McDonald's, and I want.
So you're the motherfuckers acting like you're in a gang when you just manage a McDonald's?
We are in a gang. We are in a gang.
Oh, you're in a gang,
but not like one, not a real one, a fake one, pussy one.
So you don't want any smoke?
No smoke, please.
You start a gang, but you're afraid of some smoke.
Please, no smoke, sir.
Take off your shoes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Take off your shoes.
I'm a size 9.
Take off your pants. Take off your underwear. Take off your shirt. Take off your jacket.
All right.
Give me that Kangol. Give me that chain.
Do you want to tattoo me?
This motherfucker weird. Actually, you kind of have a power by being such a
Oh,
bitch.
no! Oh, no, I don't want that.
Oh, no, power, please. You would be a weirdly intimidating gang if you were like a bunch of subs. like you roll into another gang's territory and you're like, we're a bunch of bitches. You want to tattoo your gang name on our bodies? And they're like, yo, what the fuck? You're like, we're just some pussy ass bitches. Can't stand up for shit. You need some hoes? You want some male hoes? They're like, what the fuck?
All right, if you insist, I'm going to spread my ass.
And then and then I guess they would just beat you up because they'd still be disrespected by like you just walking up to them and saying all this stuff.
Every time they punch me, I'd be like, thank you, sir. More, sir. Please, more, sir. Oh, you got your gun? Shoot me, please. I don't deserve to live. I'm a piece of shit. But not like a mean piece of shit. I'm just like one of those empty pieces of shit.
Do you think
don't matter?
Guys that are into humiliation fetishes are racist because they only let white women do it to them instead of like going to gang neighborhoods and letting black guys humiliate them? Because if you wanted somebody to like be really angry at you, you could disrespect a gang, and they sort of run off an honor code. So like it would be really easy to make them upset at you and hurt you. But they choose not to do that. They choose instead to pay a lot of money to a white woman to do it when the white woman doesn't even mean it.
I think they're racist because they've never tracked down Obama's address and knocked on the door and been like, please, sir, can you have your Secret Service agent shoot me? And I want the press to say that I wanted you to see my little penis because it's so small.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you would do if you're anti-racist.
No, you'd... Yeah, you would. And we are. So, Obama, if you're listening, could you please have your Secret Service agents gun us down in cold blood? Obama?
What if we start an anti-racist gang where we wear white shirts with black letters that say fuck racism?
Yeah.
And then we walk into like historic gang neighborhoods and we're like, segregation, discrimination, and systemic oppression is so fucked up. And I hate that it's caused these gangs. And you guys are all beautiful, smart people.
Yeah. We go to USC.
But we're beefing with you because we hate gang violence. We think it's just a government psyop that has led people to remain in poverty.
I don't like that you guys sell that thing that the CIA introduced to your communities in order to destroy it.
Yeah. Do you think they would be offended? If we were like, none of these are really your own decisions, they're just sort of like government plans to destroy poor communities even more.
Yeah, they'd probably be pretty offended.
They'd be like, we'd be like, these communities were better in the 70s before the government like started waging war on you guys by inserting drugs and making sure that you got a hold of like automatic firearms. So instead of just fighting each other like you're now killing each other and then installing a 3 strikes rule to put you in jail for life.
How about we become the anti-racist gang against sagging?
But it's not because we think that black people invented sagging. It's that we think that black people invented sagging and other cultural things as a function of discrimination. And that if we didn't have a racist society, we would all be more similar. But due to segregation, redlining, and discrimination, people, flourished within their own cultures, and then their own cultures were held against them.
So anyway, pull your pants up.
Yeah. And they're like, but wait, why do we have to pull our pants up? Why can't you just not discriminate against us for it? I'm like, because this should have never happened. And people
anyway, pull your pants. Pull your damn pants up.
They're like, this sounds really racist, though. Like, I know you're trying to intellectualize this, but it still just sounds like you are resenting black people. And we're like, no, we resent Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Who created modern black people. And they're like, holy shit.
The inventor of rap music, Ronald Reagan.
That's when you go so woke that you're actually just being a racist. You go, Ronald Reagan invented rap music. He's the reason NWA exists, and he did it so he could create negative stereotypes of black people to show to white America to make them support private prisons.
So yeah, so now that you know that, take the damn grill out your mouth and pull them pants up.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what old black guys say.
You know, if we just edited up the grill, that me saying take the grill out your mouth and pull your pants up and put it on Facebook, old people would love it.
Oh, they would love it. They would absolutely love it. But this is a wonderful example of how we do jokes for nobody. Because we're talking about systemic oppression, but then we're also still somehow being racist. So it's like, who could that possibly be for? Because the racist people don't get everything they want, and the woke people don't get everything they want.
Nobody gets anything.
Nobody gets anything. This podcast...
This is such an empty exchange.
It's a zero-sum game. We're
somehow making a bad podcast we think is a good podcast on purpose.
We find a way to have the most empty exchanges possible. But, I don't know. We should probably go to famous gang neighborhoods and ask if they'd want to be on our podcast to talk about the systemic oppression exacted upon them.
Yeah, and we should sell lemonade. We should build like one of those like childlike lemonade stands, and while they're buying lemonade, we school them.
Should we go to a famous gang neighborhood and just start selling lemonade?
Yes.
Because what's good about those communities is that the people who live in them are really aware of everybody who lives there.
Yeah.
So we just pull up and we start selling lemonade in them as two white guys that definitely don't live there.
Yeah.
How long do you think we could sell lemonade in a...
Couple years? Maybe a decade?
You think they would let us sell lemonade for 10 years?
As long as we give them a cut, yeah.
You don't think anybody would come up and be like, who the fuck are you guys?
And I'm like, we're the guys that sell lemonade for a nickel.
They're like, where are you from? We're like, not here.
Hey, look at me. Look at me. No.
Do I look like I'm from the 50s? No. We just figured you guys would want some lemonade, so we made
It's
some
a hot
lemonade.
Day. If you're banging, you're going to want some to be hydrated.
We're not trying to do anything. You guys keep banging, and if you get fucking thirsty, give us a nickel and you get a cup of lemonade, dumbass.
And a nickel is a great price. It's such a good price.
Go get a beverage for fucking less than a nickel. It's practically impossible.
I'm really helping the community out right now.
We're trying to be anti-racist by giving you motherfuckers lemonade. Can you just have a good time, please?
Yeah. And then we have to implement a no sagging rule.
You can't get lemonade. Okay. So we pull up to the Rollin' 50s. We set up a lemonade stand, and we have a sign that says lemonade will not sell if... and then a semicolon, and it says sagging, tall t-shirts, basketball shoes, hats, or no shirt, or too much jewelry. And people are like, what is this racist lemonade stand in the middle of the Rollin' 50s?
I don't know if you heard our other thing when we came down here the other day. We used to be in a gang, and then you guys told me we couldn't do that.
You guys said we couldn't be in an anti-racist gang that tells you guys that all you're doing is perpetuating systemic oppression. So we decided to start a lemonade stand that we thought it would help our point get across better. And they're like, are you guys in college? And we're like, no. We work minimum wage jobs, but we do this when we're free.
Yeah, this is kind of a passion project.
That would be so crazy. Just like 2 a.m. in like Inglewood, and we have a lemonade stand, and people are walking by like, who are these two white dudes with a lemonade stand? And we're like, pull your pants up from across the street. They're like, what the fuck did they just say? Lemonade, stop sagging.
Jewelry is too flashy. I'm fine with a necklace.
White America stereotypes you for these looks, so stop it. Like, don't you think the stereotyping should stop? We're like, we can't do that.
We're starting small.
If you want white America to respect you, you have to assimilate. Come get some goddamn lemonade. They're like, this is the most racist thing I've ever seen. Just getting yelled at to pull your pants up by two white guys at a lemonade stand.
Hey, don't beat us up.
Inglewood.
We're in the DSA. Do you know what the DSA is?
That is the funny thing. If we set up a lemonade stand in like a poor community, they'd be like, these are police. These are the dumbest police officers we've ever seen. Yeah, we started an undercover operation. We're selling lemonade and fruit cups.
We should dress in our police uniforms because nobody would suspect that police would go undercover as police.
Okay, so me and you were dressed up as the LAPD. We're standing at a lemonade stand in Inglewood at 2 a.m. And then anybody who walks by, we yell at them to pull their pants up and ask if they have a gun. If you want to buy this lemonade, you got to put your gun back in your fucking apartment. I think we would die.
Nah. They would get the irony of our statement of us dressing as LAPD.
What if that's who would think this podcast is funny? What if it's just like full-fledged gang members who are like, oh, I get it. Yeah, you guys are just trying to piss people off. That's funny. That's actually very funny.
I don't feel like we try to piss people off, but sometimes that happens.
No, we don't try. We're just unlikable bad people.
That is crazy. It's like being bad at comedy is pretty dissimilar, is not at all dissimilar from just being a guy who's trying to piss people off.
Yeah. I remember Norm was talking about bombing, and he was like, well, bombing's so funny because you're trying to make them happy.
Yeah.
And they're so mad at you. And he's like, it's the funniest thing possible. And he's like, you tried to make them happy, and they're all so angry at you for that. But, I don't know, maybe I would guess if you got the old white people from Facebook that hate us, and then you got like young active gang members in Los Angeles, and you put them in a room and you had them watch our podcast. I don't know if either groups would love it, but I think the gang members would enjoy it more and would sort of understand.
I feel like they think white people are crazy for this.
Yes, but I don't think they'd resent us for it.
Yeah.
They would just be like, these are just white guys being crazy.
Yeah.
Because people on Facebook will make more violent threats than an actual gang member will.
Yeah, because a gang member has, actual, he might actually get in trouble.
Right. And I think if they're going to be violent, they just be violent.
Yeah, you don't gotta give like warnings.
No, but white people on Facebook,
white people love threats.
I know. You'll post one clip
shit.
And they're like, I will shoot you. Hey, I just saw this comedy clip you posted. I want to let you know I'm going to take a gun and try and kill you. And you're like, wait a minute. I was just goofing off.
Well, you don't know my address, which sucks because my address is a good one.
Ooh, it's such a good one. Maybe I'll just start giving out our addresses. The reply will just be an address.
I remember one time a guy was doing some stuff like that on a video, and I just said, come meet me at my address, and then I gave him the address to Nickerson Gardens.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if he pulled up.
That'd be cool.
Asking for Shane. Pulled up to Nickerson Gardens, said, where's Shane at? And they said, nobody named Shane lives here.
And if they do, they're all women.
Yeah, there are no Shanes. We got Shawnee. You can meet Shawnee. And then she comes out and she's all tired because she was napping.
She's like, this better be good.
Yeah. She's like, what's this bullshit? And some guy, and he's like, who the fuck are you? And then he gets his ass beat because he's disrespecting Shawnee.
You can't do that. You can't go to Nickerson Gardens and disrespect Shawnee.
She's TT's sister.
Yeah.
TT bangs, so.
Yeah. Your ass might get fucking put in a coma for that shit.
I think they could appreciate our comedy. I remember I was watching a video with some Crips from like Grape Street or some shit. I don't know. They wear purple. But there was a guy named Kill Bill. And they said, why is your name Kill Bill? And they said, because he killed Bill. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
That's so funny.
It's hilarious. It's the best thing I've ever heard. So, I don't know. How do we get our podcast to gang members?
Lemonade stand.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we don't do any of the like jokey stuff. We're like, this is all free. Also, here's a URL link to our podcast if you'd like to listen to it.
I kind of like that idea. Yeah, we go to famous gang neighborhoods. We set up a lemonade stand. We go free lemonade. They come by. They go, what the fuck is this? We go, if you'd like a glass of lemonade, I'll drink it in front of you.
Yeah.
So you know it's not laced with anything. We're not lacing the community. I know white people coming in offering drinks in black communities historically might end up with all of you guys having syphilis or AIDS.
Yeah, you drink the lemonade and you're like, that's good lemonade that doesn't have LSD in it.
Yeah. Like, don't worry. We're not running our own MK Ultra.
Yeah.
We should do our own MK Ultra. We should do a Dagnabbit K Ultra. Or
we could have people on the podcast and douse them and just see what happens.
Well, like, yeah, okay. So we'll ask somebody to be a guest on our podcast. And be like, can you just write down 5 of your worst secrets? And don't worry, they won't be shared with anybody. And then they come on the podcast, we give them coffee, it's dosed with LSD, and then right when it starts hitting and they're like, hey, I feel kind of weird, we take out the paper, and then we read their 5 secrets, and we like really shit on them for it, and we bash them, and we make them feel awful. And it's like a 7-hour podcast where we sort of try and break down somebody's psyche.
Yeah. That would be good if we could make a Unabomber out of the pod.
At least we could do something, right?
Yeah.
I was watching a thing on MK Ultra, and MK Ultra is really funny just with how like stupid of a program it was. It was like, because there was like Crowley or whatever that was like working at Harvard, and he like fucked up Ted Kaczynski. But also like the CIA would also just kind of do it themselves, where like one time, a lot of times they would go to San Francisco, they would go to a bar, and they would just dose a guy. And then they would follow him around. But it's like, it's not in a controlled setting. It's in San Francisco. So like one time they dosed a guy, he got high on acid, and then they just lost him in a crowd. So like really they were doing the same thing as like asshole hippies who were dosing people.
Yeah.
Except it was the CIA. Which is very funny to be like, we'll observe him, and then a guy just gets lost and they're like, ah, shit. Well, that guy's just on acid now.
I hope he finds his place.
I hope everything works out for him.
Well, if things didn't work out for him, we can't study it.
No. Hopefully that guy doesn't blow up a federal building in 16 years. Apparently, Timothy McVeigh and Ted Kaczynski became friends in prison.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like-minded individuals.
Before Timothy McVeigh got...
That's what we were talking about earlier with troubled people make troubling things.
It's just so funny that like they were probably the only 2 guys that could really understand each other.
Yeah.
Where they were like, yeah, you do just blow everything up, don't you? And they're
what
like,
sort of
yeah,
fertilizer do you like?
Yeah. Like the conversation is just so... I also like to imagine them disagreeing though. Like Timothy's like talking about, he's like, yeah, and you know, white America's under attack, and Ted Kaczynski's like, no, you idiot. You dumbass. It's the elites that hate everybody. It's not about race. And then he's like, I don't know.
I'm glad we get to have these chats, though.
I like to admit,
we might not always agree, but we have one shared experience.
I like to imagine our podcast is so bad and so upsetting that it becomes a Ruby Ridge situation where like the DEA and like the SWAT team is outside of my apartment door, and they're like, and they have a megaphone, and they're like, stop podcasting. It's not funny. And we refuse to come out until they take like a crane and they poke a hole in my wall and then throw in like...
What do you have to give us to get us to stop podcasting?
Yeah, and then
could you give us a limousine to the airport and fly us to Hawaii?
Yeah, which is still a U.S. state, so it wouldn't even help. We would just show up in Hawaii and get arrested, and we're like, oh, fuck.
We can podcast. Oh, fly us to Mexico so we can podcast there.
Yeah, we need a flight to Mexico City so we can podcast. We need to get out of this tyrannical state.
They think it's a hostage situation because we have guests.
Yeah, but then instead of doing...
Let the guests go.
We won't let Don Barris go. But then they just get a crane and poke a hole in the wall and then just throw like fire and they just flamethrow and they burn me, you, and Don Barris alive. We'd go down in history at least.
Yeah, we would.
Of
As
having
the
such
day the Comedy Store got better.
The day freedom died. Because they killed us in my apartment. And they also kill everybody else because it's one building. Our podcast
and then they'll
is so
be like,
bad.
there was a pedophile ring inside.
Yeah, they have to make up a big lie where they're like, this was actually one big pedophile ring, but really it's just like families and Salvadorian couples. And they murder all of them just because they hated our jokes that much. The Filipino family next to me burns alive because we wouldn't stop joking about opening up lemonade stands in Crip sets. What if we went to a Crip set and set up a lemonade stand that says Blood Lemonade? And they're like, what are you guys doing? They're like, we're trying to raise some money for the Bloods. We go to a Crip set and we're like, what are you doing? We're trying to raise money for the Hoovers. This is a Hoover lemonade stand. They need some more money for jeans. We're trying to help them out as much as we can. If you could please give us some money, we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're trying to raise money for the Rampart Division, police division.
We think they're good.
Yeah, we've read the history books.
They got a good track record. No, we should go to colleges and just set up a lemonade stand that says MK Ultra Lemonade. And just see how many kids drink the lemonade.
We just call it Ultra Lemonade.
Yeah.
We can call it DB Ultra Lemonade.
Come get the Ultra Lemonade. Like, what is this? We're like, it has 100 doses of acid in every cup.
And then we're going to study you.
We're going to study
right
you.
There.
And we're just in a notebook like, this motherfucker is losing his shit. We just have 10 people around us on the ground screaming, and we're like, the study is going well.
As I suspected.
As I suspected.
As I suspected. You give them drugs, and suddenly Palestine isn't such a big issue.
It seems that these kids have been brainwashed, because the minute you give them 100 hits of acid, they all of a sudden don't care about Palestine. This boy thinks he's in hell. 20 minutes ago, he was pro-Palestine. But now he thinks he's the devil that is killing himself in hell. Seems like this isn't much of a movement after all.
Oh, interesting. When you shoot pro-Palestinian protesters with a gun, they die. Guess this movement isn't that strong.
We're doing studies with bullets on college students. We reviewed the Kent State study.
We called it Better Ultra.
It's Better Ultra. The effect of bullets on a college student's body while protesting. It seems to reduce their enthusiasm for protesting. We're doing good work. Well,
we spiked God with acid.
We gave God acid.
Just as I suspected.
I mean, that really is an encapsulation of the 60s. Where they're just like, look at all these protesters. What happens if we ruin their mind with drugs? Oh, they seem to have stopped caring. Gotcha.
Anyway, that was a fun episode.
Well, yeah, thank you for tuning in. Much love to Facebook.
Yeah, shout out to, what's his name, Eli Lutsky? Was that the guy who said
yes.
guy? Eli Lutsky?
Yes.
Shout out Eli Lutsky. You can check out his plays and stuff. I think that's about all we got.
And thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
See ya.